Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast Central, and now you're on to Trendwave. Now, since the weekend, there has been a public uproar in Kenya's capital of Nairobi after a 26-year-old woman named Withheld was captured in a viral video giving birth on the floor at the corridors of Mama Lucy Hospital on Saturday. It was alleged that the woman was forced to deliver in the corridors after being denied access to the maternity ward by the watchman of the hospital. Let's take a look. Nairobi's Health County Executive Committee member Anastasia Nyalita has, in a statement made on Monday, acknowledged that the incident indeed happened, and she termed it disheartening and unfortunate. She acknowledged that a lot needs to be done to avoid future occurrences of similar cases. And in response to this, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has disbanded the Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital Management Board and appointed a new board. Now, this is so disheartening, and there are reports that this isn't the first time issues like this have happened in the same hospital. We'll take a look at how people are reacting to this story straight away. Askyo Nyayi says Mama Lucy has been terrible ever since its inception, with labs around the hospital where you are sent because the doctors have deals with the ones at the labs or own the laboratories. Now, the whole institution needs an overhaul. I've never seen a worst service delivery institution in my life. That's according to Askyo Nyayi. Kivuva says people go there for lack of options. Poverty is the enemy here. If people had options, public hospitals, especially those run by the county government, would never be optional. Nix goes on to say people go there because they cannot afford the exorbitant fees paid in private hospitals. We'll take one last comment. Daphne says it's high time the government made this health center secure. Healthcare should be the most accessible service to citizens, and that's absolutely correct. But let's move back to Nigeria, where popular Nigerian singer Peter Okoye, popularly known as Mr. P, has weighed in on the alleged divorce saga of PSG and Moroccan defender Achraf Hakimi. Let's recall that reports which broke out on Friday said that the World Cup semi-finalist had left his wife Hiba Abouk, who went to a French court to seek a divorce, demanding half of the PSG star's properties following his involvement in an alleged rape accusation. But to the greatest surprise of the 36-year-old Spanish wife, the Moroccan star had zero belongings and had put all of his properties in his mother's name. Reacting to this, Mr. P took to his Twitter page to question why most men are rejoicing because of the footballer's story. He further advised that if you can't trust your wife, don't marry her. That's the post according to Mr. P. He says, I don't understand why most men are rejoicing over this Hakimi story. Like, I don't get it. The truth is bitter, but it needs to be told. If you don't trust her, then don't marry her. It's as simple as that. And it goes on to say, are you expecting your wife to suffer after divorce? Now, his reactions has, of course, gained a lot of eyeballs online, with many people asking him if his twin brother shared his property with his ex-wife. Let's take a look at some of the reactions to this story. BOD, which is quite popular on social media, Twitter precisely, says, these days it's not about trust or no trust. Every woman looks like a saint before marriage. It's after marriage that they turn into something else. If your brother knew his ex-wife would behave the way she did too, he wouldn't have married her in the first place. That's according to BOD. More reactions to this story. Energy Upman says, Hakimi's wife was 12 years older than Hakimi. She knows the game, and Hakimi outsmarted her too. They are both Ogbon, but Hakimi is the real definition of Sodiki. Now, that's in local parlance. More reactions to the story. Apostle Gaddafi says, did your brother divide his asset 50-50 when he divorced his ex-wife? I'm just asking. My guy, keep quiet. Nobody they support bad thing when he no favor them. Well, Samuel goes on to say, don't roast him, guys. Is the one that sang, chop my money, I don't care. But that's as much as we can take on Trendwave this morning. Quite interesting stories, if you ask me. The first one, not so interesting, quite pathetic. But this one, quite interesting. I want to bring you in to just take a bit of your reactions, Olive and Saga.
To the story of the one who gave birth on the floor in the Kenyan hospital. It's a sad story, but it's not an unimaginable story, because even in several parts in Nigeria here, there have been stories of women, unfortunately, who I remember a friend of mine being pregnant and going to a hospital, and they were saying to her, better pray, all the beds are occupied, pray that one woman will give birth so that you see a bed to have a baby. right? Until they found out, she had to call someone that knew someone that knew someone in the hospital, and the bed was created for her. And that shouldn't be the norm. It's just, it shows us how much vacuum we have in the health sector and how much work that needs to be done. The work should be done in improving the healthcare sector rather than, some would say that, that should be the focus, as opposed to passing bills to restrict medical professionals from going for greener pastures when they don't have conducive work environments here in Nigeria. But away from that story to the P-Square story, it's just, he was just sharing his thought and he just collected stray bullets. Who's that tweet that just threw stray bullet at him? But I do agree with him, you should be able to trust who you choose as partner. And if you don't trust them, you have no business marrying.
I agree. You should trust who you choose as partner. It's a lifetime decision for a lot of people. But at the same time, I think, it is dishonest that, he makes a statement like that with regards to Hakimi, disregarding the details concerning, this particular story.
It would be that, okay, so he started from, as a teenager, the mom had been...
there's many details. First of all, the fact that there's a lot of sports people who have been taken advantage of by women. And gotten into marriages with these players only to find ways to sneak out of the marriage a couple of years later and then wreck them completely financially. And so there's more and more sports players who are becoming very, very more protective of their wealth before marriage, because they are a target of some of these women. So there's that part, and at the same time, his story in particular, he got married, well, she met him when he was 19. He was a Champions League winner with Real Madrid. She was in her 30s when she met him. And so I think he has a good point. If you don't trust your partner and some of all those things he's saying, I agree. But the peculiarities of this story, it's just not the right story to use to make that point. The Hakimi story is a very, very peculiar one, and we should not ignore the little details concerning it. And also, anyway, that's
it's how
really
everybody's just giving hot takes on this Hakimi story.
And I think, if I was president, we should make a law, on social media. Stop arguing marital stuff you're not married. Don't be single 21-year-old in Ibadan arguing marital stuff, when...
On that note...
You know what? I just want to actually commend the governor of Nairobi, Joseph Sakanja, for just going ahead to disband the board of Mama Lucy Hospital. I think that's quite a very proactive approach to things like this, because in Nigeria, things like this happen and nothing is done. But if that's going to be the answer to the questions people are putting out there, then good for them. As for Hakimi, I just hope that it works out well for both of them at the end of the day.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Liz, for sharing with us Trendway, what's trending on the web.